Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, it's the Ramble. I'm Alex. We'll be here until midnight tonight, Eastern Time. Ladies and gentlemen, cleaning his glasses. You can see the writing down below him, says Steve Kravitz. Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Alex?
No, I'm surviving. You know, I'm just out of it these days because like, you take medicine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and medicine. They don't. I wish they would come out with a medicine that doesn't have side effects. But all of them have side effects. In fact, when you tune into the news and they run a commercial for something, they then give you all the side effects, and you go, "Why should I take that if I'm going to get explosive diarrhea?" You know?
My favorite is, don't take if you're allergic to it. How the fuck do you know if you're allergic to it if you don't take it?
Exactly.
May cause death.
That's always one of them. That's always one of them. May cause
death.
Fatal injury or something like that. Yeah. Because they don't, what that is, that whole thing where they do about 10 seconds of pushing the product and about 50 seconds of the contradictions. And that's all lawyer speak, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You know, so they're trying to prevent you from suing them. But, you know, you can sue them anyway. What the hell?
You can try.
But anyways, so I mean, I take this one pill that makes me nice. It's for my neuropathy, but it makes me nice. Marjorie goes, "Did you take your nice pill last night?" And I go, "No, I didn't take the nice pill last night." "Oh, they're going to be mean to me all day, huh?" And then if I can't get to sleep using that, you take a Xanax instead. And Xanax makes me, like today, I'm loopy. I'm bumping into things, and you know.
Well, it's got a long half-life.
He zoomed me, and then I hung up on him. You know,
yeah.
I pushed the wrong button. It's a button I've been pushing for the longest time, but I don't know to push it right. Son of a bitch.
Alex, shit happens.
So how you doing up there in Massachusetts? Is it snowy?
We had like an ice storm last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to get another one tomorrow afternoon.
Now, what is an ice storm exactly? I'm from California. We didn't know from ice storms out there. We knew from hard dew.
Hard dew, that sounds like the name of a band.
Yeah, hard dew. No, really, hard dew. We would get like frost in the morning on the grass. And that was it. And then by 8 o'clock in the morning, it was all melted.
Well, here there's plenty of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
What about New York City?
Well, we had snow, but it's dissipating now because the temperatures have gone up, and so it dissipates.
Today's beautiful. I was outside already today. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Although I hate the fact that you have to get dressed just to go get the mail.
Yeah.
You know, you have to put on a jacket and a hat and some gloves. That's just to go out and get the mail.
Yeah. I just got an item here on my Alexa, and it was only partially, but it said Rush Limbaugh, controversial, blah, 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 and then it didn't finish the story. And I just assumed the rest of the story is Rush Limbaugh is dead.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Huh?
That's what I would assume also.
Yeah. Let me see here. Echo, what was the notification? Echo, what was the notification? It's not even responding to Echo. Echo, what was the notification? Okay.
One new notification. From Alexa News.
He's died.
From NPR. Rush
Yeah.
One of the most conservative and controversial voices in the media.
Okay.
Has died at age 70.
Age 70.
Do you want to hear more about this?
No, I don't want to hear more about it. I'm just glad. No, wait a minute.
To check your notifications, visit notifications.
Okay, all right,
settings
all
in
right,
your
all right.
tab.
Echo, shut up.
That's
Anyway.
like my GPS. If I put it in one place that just gets me to the next place, it just won't stop.
Yeah.
Rerouting, rerouting. Enough.
Oh
And it
boy.
won't shut off.
Yeah. I just, he had those cochlear implants. You know what those are?
Sure.
For hearing. And they're
Yeah.
like implanted in your head, and then the sound
Right.
goes through the. Dun, 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 dun. And he's been using those for years. I wonder when he dies if they take them out.
And reuse them?
Yeah, reuse them or whatever. Anyway, I'm being too mean. I'm so sorry that Rush Limbaugh was, in my opinion, as another broadcaster, a great broadcaster. I didn't agree with his politics and I didn't agree with his message, but he was very good at what he did.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
I used to listen to him occasionally, and I go, "Gee, he's really good." You know, he's really terrific. So I'm in that respect, I'm sorry that his voice was still. I mean, he was 70. That's pretty young.
That is pretty young.
Well, to me, that's young.
Right.
You know, I remember I always love to tell the story about my mother, and she had a friend of hers who died. My mother was 93. Her friend died at 91.
My mother would have turned 90 yesterday.
Really? Well, my mother died at 100. Okay, but anyway, she was 93 and her friend was 91. And when she died, my mother said, gee, she was so young. You know, there you
It's
go.
all relative.
Okay, I get it. She was she was too young. It's all relative, you know. So when I say Rush Limbaugh was young, I'm 81. Yes, he was young.
Right.
You know, I mean, certainly he did not make it to the median age of when, males are supposed to die, which I think is 75, 76, somewhere around in there. So
Really?
yeah. It's much lower for men than it is for women. Women, it's like 77, 78.
Right. I know women tend to live longer than men.
Yeah, well, I look at my wife all the time, resenting her, because she's 77, and I'm going, she'll probably outlive me, But then again, who knows? She could be run over by a car that I'm backing out of a driveway.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I didn't see her.
I didn't see her. You know what gets me is when I put up your name, it says HP Test.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why.
I can change that. Do you know that? I can do that from here.
Let's see you.
You want to see me? What name do you want? What name do you want?
I'll take my name.
Your name? Stephen. Do you have a middle initial?
Jay.
No, I'll just do Kravitz. Kravitz. Okay, now watch what happens. Do you see your name on the bottom of the screen?
I still see HP Test.
Okay, ready? But
Oh,
there you go.
look at that. There I am.
There you are. See?
Look at that.
Yeah. These are things I can do. I have power over you.
Yeah.
I'd ask you what's new.
But that's a pointless question.
That's a pointless question in COVID times.
Although I finished up my last dose of the hepatitis medicine last night.
Yeah.
So I get blood work done in 3 months,
Yeah?
and we'll find out if I'm hepatitis free.
Yeah. Usually those things work pretty well. I mean, there was a time when you just, you didn't weren't able to take care of that easily. If you had hepatitis C, you had hepatitis C, and you had it for life. And now
Right. The thing is, I had no idea it could lie dormant for 40 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gee, and then I could get it any day now, right?
If you had it 40 years ago.
Now, how did you get it? Do you know?
Yeah, a tattoo.
A tattoo?
Yeah.
Wow. How do you know it was a tattoo?
Because my first tattoo was done in the guy's apartment, and it wasn't the cleanest.
Oh well, then yeah. But how do you know it was that tattoo that did it?
Because the other tattoos later on were in tattoo parlors.
I see. But how do you know that it was Did you do intravenous drugs at all?
Yes.
So how do you know that didn't do it?
I don't.
See, you really don't know where it came from.
No.
How did you first find out that you had hepatitis C?
I was in a halfway house.
I got to tell you, folks, this guy was really fucked up for part of his life. Okay.
I was in a halfway house, and my eyes turned yellow, and my skin turned yellow, jaundice.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew. And that was the one and only time I had a breakout.
Really?
And then it remained dormant up until just a couple of months ago.
Wow. So that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when it was no longer dormant, how did it manifest itself?
I was seeing a new doctor, and she did blood work, and she said my hepatitis was active.
I see. In other words, you wouldn't have known about it if you hadn't had the blood test.
Right, that's correct.
So then they suggested that you do. You want to get that?
No.
In other words, then they just say, okay, well, we'll take care of it. Just start taking these pills, and that's it. God, that is so wonderful. You know, when we think we haven't cured things, it turns out that we actually have.
Well, we talked about that before with AIDS.
AIDS is all, from what I understand, there have been no new incidences of AIDS. I think we wiped out the last incidence of new AIDS or something. It's pretty well gone.
Gone.
You know, I mean, people have
undetectable.
Undetectable. They have these drugs they advertise on TV again, you know, because if you don't watch the news shows, folks, you miss all those wonderful ads for medicines, okay? Because they know who their audience is, old farts, all right? And so I would say 3/4 to maybe more than that, maybe 80-90% of the ads on the nighttime 6:30 news or whenever it's on in your area are for drugs. And one of them said about AIDS, you know, and it makes you undetectable, which means you can't pass it on to others.
That's right.
So
it's not gone; it's undetectable. It's kind of like having your record expunged. It's still there, but you don't have to say anything about it.
What do you do? Can't see you.
Right. Not that I would know about an expunged record.
Well, I don't understand how being undetectable means you can't give it to somebody. Wouldn't you think that we talk about COVID and we say people are non-symptomatic, but they can pass it on to others.
Right.
Well, in this case, you're non-symptomatic, but why can't you pass it on to others? I guess you just can't.
Not a doctor.
I guess that's the science. But anyway, we wiped that out. We wiped out polio.
Oh, yeah.
Remember polio? That was a big one.
I had a friend that had polio.
Well, all of us had, even if you're of a certain age, you had a friend who had polio.
Right.
You know, you knew some kid in your school or something who had polio.
Right.
And, it was a sad disease, too, because it hit kids. It didn't hit adults. There were adults that got it. Franklin Delano Roosevelt had it.
Right.
But it was unusual among adults. It basically plagued kids, and that's what made it so sad.
Right.
And that's what made it so fearful for kids like me. When I was growing up, my mother wouldn't let me go swimming during the summer because I might be swimming in polio water. They didn't know what it was.
Right.
So that was all what that was about, you know. But I just noticed we've already done 14 minutes here. Jeez, you know, talking to you is like, you know, calling up an old friend and just saying, how you doing?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, do you Zoom friends at all and talk to them that way?
I have friends in California I Zoom to.
Because my wife has these girlfriends that she's constantly Zooming. They actually use FaceTime.
Right. I have friends that I use FaceTime with.
Yeah. Whatever's easiest for people.
Right. Right.
But I mean, it's changed the whole way in which we relate to each other, and I bet we keep, after the whole COVID thing is over, we keep communicating that way with our friends.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because we're very used to it. You know?
That's right.
And Zoom is perfect. Zoom works great. I've never had, I can't say one problem with Zoom.
No.
Ever. You know, I can get complete morons who know nothing about computers, and I can get them to call me on Zoom.
Except Larry Brown.
Well, he doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have the equipment. You know.
He doesn't have a computer?
He has a computer, but are you ready for this?
Yeah.
It's one of those old ones that you have to hear the thing going.
Yes.
They don't have high-speed internet in his apartment. Now, if he had an iPhone, he could just simply do the high speed over the 4G network, 5G network, right? But no, he doesn't even have that. Okay. So we never get to see Larry Brown. I just have a picture of him with some stuff swirling around, and that's all we ever see of Larry Bubbles Brown. You know, so.
Who was on yesterday?
Who was on yesterday? I have a friend named Phil Meyer who was on yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and tonight it'll be you. Well, right now it'll be you if people are watching this. And
let's hope they're watching it.
Yeah, let's hope you're watching it. And then let's see here. Then what else? Then tomorrow will be probably Stephen Pearl, and then Bubbles again on Friday.
Well, there you go.
So it's a week, you know. Sometimes I do less of you guys than others if I add, like, I call Slayton and I do something with Slayton, or I do something with Durst. I occasionally call Durst in his bed and talk to him for a while, you know. Well, yeah, that's we're you know. But I used to do these for 15 minutes, but now we're already up to 17 minutes.
Really?
Shall we see how long we can go and just not let anybody on this program call? You know.
No, we should let people call and say nice things.
Yeah, they can't call you because you're doing this at a different time than we're doing the show. So. Oh, really?
Do you get calls during the show?
Oh, yeah. After this, I go to what we call our citizen panel, and I have them call the Zoom number, and we all sit there talking, you know. Sometimes as many as like 12, 13 people at a time, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You should go to my site, which is gabnet.net, and you can see a lot of the programs. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Well, listen, you stay well, my friend, and
you also stay warm.
Stay safe. You haven't gotten a shot yet, have you?
No.
You're not eligible yet?
I'm eligible in like 10 days.
Oh, it'll be. Well, you could probably sign up for it now.
Well,
because you're not going to be able to get it till like, I don't know, December of 2025.
Thanks so much.
Well, no, I mean, that's the way it is. They made me wait 5.5 weeks for my second shot. I'm not getting my second shot till a week from Saturday.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, but now they're doing it different. Now when you get your first shot, you get an appointment for your second shot at the same time.
I know, but they didn't do it for me there. You had to go online and do it, and then for that location, they didn't have anything till 5.5 weeks. So, which I think is a fuck up on their part, to be honest with you, because everybody I know, 4 weeks, they're getting their second shot. So, but I'll be happy to get my shot finally, because then I can kiss bats.
You can kiss bats?
Bats, yeah. Well, that's where it came from, you know.
Is that seriously where it came from?
Yeah, it came from bats, yeah. But these things always come from animals somewhere. I mean, and they always come from Asia. Don't blame the Chinese, by the way. It always comes from Asia. Every flu season, it comes from Asia. And the reason they know what to give you as a flu shot is they look and see what's developing in Asia and what's going to make its way over here by that time.
Really?
Yeah, so if we kill all the Asians, we'll never
Thanks,
have another
Alex.
case of flu on the planet. No, but that's where they all start. They all start there. So to call it a Chinese flu, I mean, who knows? The bat may have flown from Vietnam or something, you know? And then the bat, I don't know, bites something, and then something else, and you eat that something, and then you get the COVID.
Is that really how it started?
Yeah, I'm the new Dr. Fauci, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
I had no idea about
No,
that.
I've known this for years, and I just said if we know that it's coming from Asia, why don't we do something about Asian farming or something, and try to minimize it? But it all starts with animals, and they pass it on to us. So we all become vegetarians, and we kill all the animals on the planet.
There you go. That's a solution.
I've got solutions to everything. Just ask me, okay?
Why aren't you in charge?
Anyway, we've gone 20 minutes. Let's get out of here so people don't get mad at me. Ladies and gentlemen, look at his name. It's Steve Kravitz. Don't wear it out. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yeah, and there goes Stephen Pearl, ladies. Stephen Kravitz. Stephen Pearl's tomorrow night, okay? All right? Okay, we have these different people. Anyway, so where do we go here? I'm trying to figure this all out now. Are we okay? I guess we're a little bit, again, we're just a little bit behind. Kind of a little lag. I don't know. I think I may have solved a part of the lag problem, but we'll find out. But I don't know. All of a sudden, we have a lag here. This is great. I can't figure it out. I'm not going to try and figure it out. All right? Okay. I mean, I can always change it by making sure it doesn't lag by going to another. There we go. Another. Well, yeah, no, that's not off. That's fine. But that's. I'm just gonna go and try going ahead here. I just don't like being in a situation where I'm lagging all the time, and anyway, forget it. If need be, I'll just go to another thing here. You don't know what I'm talking about. This is a problem that happens every night. Maybe I'm going to have to get a really good second camera just for this Zoom thing. But let's go to the Zoom panel here as we admit everybody. And let me see here. I need to do this gallery. There we go. And I think we're okay now, aren't we? Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm going to just do this. Then I don't have to worry about it. Okay. Then I'll be in sync.
Go to the Zoom panel.
Oh no, Jeff.
Somebody got something on.
Jeff.
And let me see here.
Jeff. Go to. Can you hear me, Jeff? Can you? No, he can't even hear me. Can you hear me, Jeff? Oh, he got it. Or did he?
Okay.
No, he didn't. No.
There we go.
No, he didn't. Oh boy. There we go again.
Something happened yesterday.
Huh? Same thing happened yesterday.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah. I'm going to mute him so we don't have to put up with that. Hello, everybody. How are you this evening?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah. You are?
Trying not to have too much. What's that word? Schadenfreude, whatever.
Schadenfreude? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid that, but I can't help having a little bit with the Limbaugh thing. You know, back in 1995, when Jerry Garcia died,
Yeah.
Rush Limbaugh's his response to him was just another dead doper. And then Rush Limbaugh himself got involved in the OxyContin, and now
just another dead doper.
Exactly.
Because he was.
But I think I got all the mean stuff out of my system. I don't want to be too mean.
I knew this was going to come up tonight.
Oh yeah,
and you brought it up way too early because we could have gone with other light stuff first,
well,
and then
sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
Okay.
I
apologize.
Anyway. What would be the light stuff? like the city of New York announced today that the health department that they can't get vaccines because most of the plants that have them, nobody in the country can get them, are in the middle of Texas or the middle of the country, the Midwest.
Yeah.
And so they can't get the vaccines out to people.
Well, who knows? Who knows? But
you got a week and a half. You don't have to worry.
Here comes Jeff again. Are we going to be okay?
No.
Okay. What are your bets?
So.
Any bets here? What?
Bet he fixed it.
Let me see here. But he's not joining yet. Okay. There he is. Okay. Connect your audio, Jeff. Now.
No, that's not Jeff. It's Pam.
Jeff, are you okay, Jeff?
Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah. Well,
there we go.
Hasn't she told you what to do when that happens? She figures it out.
A little bit.
What do you mean a little bit? It's
a little bit.
Here's what happens.
It all the time.
You've got your browser on because you're watching the show, right?
Yeah.
Just turn that off.
That's what I just did.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's all you have to do. It's very simple.
Okay.
I was almost going to write you today and tell you that, but I figured you got to fix it last night, so that would probably take care of it. And the fact is that no, that wasn't so. So
yeah. But anyway.
Anyway.
So another thing, other than the viruses getting stuck in the snow, is you just talked to somebody about HIV.
Yeah.
And HIV is still going on in this country.
It still is going on, but it is not killing people.
Treatable.
It's treatable.
It's treatable now. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with Alex. We need to start the show soft. Let it go into the conversation.
Yeah. Then
okay.
This is not a reporter. This is not a news center.
Once I said,
Charlie was snowed in.
It's my fault.
Here we go. Sarah Guevara Villalobos.
Oh, good.
Larkin's gone rogue again.
Huh?
Larkin's gone rogue again.
What I don't understand is why. I got to do this here, folks, because you can see that. See, that's the new thing is you can see these things when they come up now. I'm trying a new way of doing this, hoping.
I like the kid better when he came in.
Really?
Yeah, I miss him. He was cool.
Really?
I noticed that Brian hasn't licked a spoon since.
Oh,
okay. More eating.
Let me do this. Here we go. Okay. Are we okay? No, you see, I've got it so that I do it on a different thing now, and then I'm in sync. Anyway, or more in sync. No, I guess I'm not. Jeez, this is really terrible. Hold on a second, folks, while I take myself and put myself on my other camera. Okay, there we go. And I'll go there, and I'll go there. Okay, so we get that out of the way. Here comes Trucker Steve and Sidekick Rocky.
He was here a minute ago, wasn't he?
I don't know if he was or he wasn't. I think he was trying to get on. And there he is. Okay, where are you tonight, Trucker Steve? Steve, where are you tonight? Can you hear us? Steve?
In his truck?
Sorry, I got shitty crap.
Yeah.
Internet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you okay. Yeah. So where are you tonight? No, boy.
On the moon, apparently.
Apparently. Oh, well. We'll have to figure it out later. What the hell? Anyway.
Boy,
What?
Now this is why I don't wear why I always wear a hat. Looking at Mr. Larkin's hair. It's like he just woke up.
looking at Mr. Larkin's hair.
He's got a full head of hair, unlike me, though.
Yeah.
Same with Dan's got the spiky thing, COVID spike going.
I have thick and graying hair, and my brother is going bald, so I got the thick head part of the gene pool. So,
well, Dan, welcome to your 30s.
30s. Oh, I wish. 30s.
But you have the same mother and father. Your brother?
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, we were pretty old-fashioned nuclear family back in the old days, but they're gone. So,
okay. Anyway, I don't know why I'm out of sync. I can't figure this one out. I thought I had it solved today, and it apparently is not true. I don't have it solved today. So, what have you? I give up. I give up. Maybe I'll stop doing this show. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the technology and nothing working right. And, I thought I had this problem solved, but I didn't. And so I've got to go to this other camera, which is not the good camera. But what the hell? I'll go to that camera and stick with it. And
threatening to quit is probably good for your numbers, right?
No, no. If I quit, it would be good for my numbers.
Well, no, you got to keep threatening to quit. That's the thing. You build the anticipation. Any show could be the last one. You gotta,
Yeah. Well,
Did they do that? Did they do that in radio?
What?
Where people would go on long vacations and they would play it up like that they got suspended or something.
Well, sometimes they would do that. Yeah, they would fire people as a publicity stunt. Okay, and I never got fired as a publicity stunt. I got fired. And I wouldn't go for that as a publicity stunt. Part of the downside of that was you would get fired. Okay, and then all anybody would remember is you got fired, and one day they're saying, "Whatever became of Alex Bennett?" Even though you're still back on the air, So that changed everything. But anyway, I think I'm going to have to get myself another one of these same cameras that I've got to just deal with the Zoom and not have it go through the video that's also working on the switcher that I have here. So it's a pain in the ass because this camera doesn't look bad, does it? No.
No.
It's not as good as the other one, but
no, you look like you have gray hair.
You
look like you have some gray hair on your face.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about Rush Limbaugh. And some of you are going to be a little upset by what I have to say. I'm sad to see Rush go because I don't wish anybody dead. Okay, and I don't revel over the death of anyone. Oh, maybe there are a few people. Hitler, I think I wouldn't have mourned.
Trump.
Joseph Stalin, a few people like that. Trump, no, I don't want Trump to die. I mean, I don't want anybody to die. I don't want to die, and so therefore I shouldn't want anybody else to die.
I'd like Trump to have a long life in prison.
But a long life in prison is fine with me, and I think that would be just. Okay. Yeah. But the point is that I honestly believe that in the case of Rush, I know of no maybe better broadcaster than Rush Limbaugh. As a broadcaster myself, when I look at somebody else do the work that I do, and he does it with exceptional virtuosity, I have to admire that, okay, as a talent and as an ability. And if there was a talk show host that was ever a great talk show host, it's Rush Limbaugh. Now, that doesn't mean I agree with anything he ever said. Absolutely. But the way in which he did it and the virtuosity he used to achieve it was pretty amazing. I would listen to him sometimes and go, "Wow, he's good," and I wasn't listening to him and what he was saying. I was listening to as how he was saying it, and how he was communicating it. I think he may be the best talk show host there ever was. Now, let me add this. Years ago, there was a comedian, I've told the story before, by the name of Stepin Fetchit. He was a very good vaudeville comic who went into movies. And he became that stereotype of the black scared guy in movies. You know, feats don't fail me now, that whole routine. And everybody went, well, he stereotyped blacks. But he didn't stereotype blacks. You know who stereotyped blacks? Names you don't remember, like Mantan Moreland. And who was the other guy? I'm trying to remember there was another guy in that category as well. Because they all imitated Mantan Moreland. Who was the other guy? Damn it, I can't remember him now. But they were all imitating Stepin Fetchit because he was so successful at what he did. And so all these people came along and created the stereotype. If it had only been Stepin Fetchit, it wouldn't have been a stereotype. Do you get what I'm saying?
Was Stepin Fetchit, did he come from the Amos and Andy show?
No. Stepin Fetchit goes back to the 20s, vaudeville and so on. Consequently, if it only been Stepin Fetchit, then you wouldn't have had that kind of situation where you said, oh, he stereotyped blacks. No, he didn't stereotype blacks at all. And so that's the way I feel about Rush. Rush didn't cause the problem. What caused the problem were the Hannitys and the Becks and all the people that came after him that tried to imitate his act. And they created the problem. If it were just Rush, and he died today, we'd all gone, well, I didn't agree with the guy, but boy, was he fun to listen to. You know? And that's the problem. Don't blame Rush for what Hannity and all those other guys did in trying to capitalize on what Rush was doing. Yes, Dan.
Well, let me kind of add on this. I remember when I would listen to Rush all the time in the early 90s. It was a very entertaining show, like everything you said about, very engaging broadcaster. There were times that he wouldn't take a call for his entire show, I remember.
Yeah.
And his tongue was kind of in his cheek the whole time,
Yeah.
back in the early days. But then I think after the Handys and everything else, he started buying into his own bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Rush did.
Well, I don't
know.
He
took himself too seriously. I don't know.
It may have been that he eventually did. Sometimes
Power corrupted him.
Huh?
He got powerful.
Yeah.
When he started, it was just kind of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But when I remember first hearing him, I mean, I've been a liberal all my life. So anytime I hear any kind of comedy right-wing stuff, even when it first came around, I thought this is dangerous, because he wasn't serious.
Mm-hmm.
But then he got power, and then he got really scary when he got power, I think.
Well, I think maybe that's something you perceived.
Yeah, probably.
I think you perceived that.
Wow.
Because
remember that TV show he had? It was a bomb.
It bombed, but it bombed for 5 years.
Yeah, it
lasted
the TV
5
show?
years.
Huge
5 years. 5 years.
No, I thought it was only on for.
I looked it up today. 5 years.
Yeah,
5 years.
Shit.
Yep.
Rush was popular in the mid '90s. He was big.
You also forget that he became a commentator on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, for like a week or two.
No, for about a year until he said something that they
He's
didn't
desirous that black quarquarterbers do well.
Something, I don't know, but he got into trouble.
McNabb, I think.
What they were waiting for is a problem with him.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that I always found him incredibly entertaining to listen to. In later years, as you say, I think he got a little too bought into his act a little too much. But
what would he say about you, Alex?
What?
What would he say about you?
I don't think he would say anything about me. I don't think he even knew I existed.
You never met him, I don't think, right?
No, I never met Rush. Here comes James Lee from Hawaii. What do you know? I hope it's James Lee and not somebody pretending to be James Lee who's going to show some naked people dancing. Hi, James. How are you? There he is. Turn on your audio. Connect your audio. Connect your audio, James.
Anybody ever talk to Renee?
No, you don't hear from Renee at all, do you, James?
What would he say about you?
I don't think he would.
Oh,
the
no.
same thing.
Oh, God.
James, no.
No, I never met Rush.
Oh, well, I'll listen to the show.
This is-
Yeah.
we can listen back
James,
to
turn
ourselves.
off your turn off the audio from the show.
Okay. Pretending to be James Lee.
Wait, hang on. Let me.
Hi, James.
Yeah, YouTube on. Turn YouTube off.
Turn on your audio.
What is
You
this?
know, Alex,
Is this some kind of
I test my audio and video before the show even starts.
is this some kind of infection that has happened over the last week? This is worse than coronavirus.
The new virus, yeah.
The new virus.
Yeah, he said something about McNabb about he was overrated as a quarterback because he was black.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah, I'm an Eagles fan, so
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were bothered by that.
Whatever.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is, he was not a big problem. But he had his faults. Okay.
He was a racist. He was a racist.
I don't know that he was a racist. I wouldn't go along with that argument.
Probably, but not, not as overtly as a lot of people may think.
He was only a racist.
He
was only a racist in as much as he was white.
Well,
So.
Remember when he was playing the Obama, the Friendly Negro song or something like that?
Was he doing something like that? I don't know. I mean, we
one of his comedy things, and then he did that comedy thing about Ted Kennedy philandering. When he was the philanderer, he had 3 or 4 wives. Kennedy only had like 1 or 2.
Well, the fact he had 3 or 4 wives doesn't mean you philandered. It just meant you had 3 or 4 wives. I had 4 wives, and I did philander.
But Kennedy didn't. Kennedy, I mean, Ted Kennedy, he wasn't. He never didn't have a bunch of girlfriends. I think he had one wife, and she died or something. Then he got married again.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, I can feel pretty comfortable in saying that without Rush and all the people who copied Rush, that Trump never would have been president. That whole kind of, that whole
but the
movement of conservatism.
But the point is, they did happen, and they did predominate the airwaves.
Yes,
because there was a philosophy going on out there at the time. That, for instance, there was a guy who ran Clear Channel, which had the most stations in the country and later became iHeartRadio. Mm-hmm. And the guy who was in charge of their talk programming believed that talk radio was defined as conservative talk. Yeah. And so he hired nothing but conservatives. He had Beck, he had Hannity, he had, all these people, Levin, all of them.
Yeah, and the stations are 100% conservative right down the line.
Yeah. And he didn't really, like, for instance, I was working in San Francisco at a Clear Channel station. He came into town, he heard me, and all he had to say to the general manager was, "Is he kidding?" Because I was very much to the left.
Right.
And the next thing I know, I was gone. I mean, don't blame Rush for that. Rush just simply found. See, here's what Rush found out. Rush came in at a time where he had a thing called the what was it?
You had to give equal time.
It was an equal time thing.
Fairness doctrine.
Yeah.
And with the fairness doctrine, you couldn't just have your opinion without having someone else come on with an alternative opinion.
Yeah, you couldn't have a wall-to-wall conservative station.
Right, exactly. So you had to bring in somebody of an equal opinion, or you had to have somebody on the station who was of that other view to counter your view. Well, when they did away with that, Rush saw his opportunity to go to all conservative radio. No opinion on the other side. And he exploited that, and he saw the opportunity, and he took it, and he became huge.
Yeah, it was a year after the Fairness Doctrine was struck down that Rush Limbaugh
when
became...
Rush first hit the airwaves, you would not turn on the radio and necessarily hear any right wingers.
Right.
I know that I worked at a station here in New York, WMCA, where I was very much the leftist hippie, and Bob Grant, who was also on the same station with me, was the right wing hippie. I don't know, he wasn't a hippie. Was the right winger. And we had right wingers, we had left wingers, we had middle of the roaders. I mean, nothing was talk radio wasn't being defined as being conservative. It was when Rush was so successful at it that it became that, and other people wanted to capitalize on what Rush was doing. So if you want to capitalize on somebody because he's doing so well, that guy must be pretty damn good. You know, and got across what he had to get across. Hi there, Mr. Lee. How are you?
Fine. Is there any feedback on my audio now?
No.
Yeah. When you're talking about Rush Limbaugh, didn't he start out in Sacramento?
Yeah. Well,
I remember Owen Spann on KGO, and back in the 70s and 80s. Yeah.
What about Owen Spann?
Yeah, he wasn't a right winger. He was,
Owen Spann was an asshole.
Well, one of your competitors.
No, he wasn't a competitor. He didn't do what I do. But I just found him, I don't know, he was an asshole. Believe me. Take it from me. He absolutely was an asshole.
I don't want to change the subject a little bit, but I just had my COVID. I'm an old man too, over 75. Mm-hmm. So out here in Hawaii with Kaiser, over 75, we're having our Moderna shots, the one you don't have to freeze, the vaccine.
Right, that's what I got.
And interestingly enough, here at Kaiser on the Big Island in Hilo, it was all women patients. There were only 3 men that hour I went up there. There were 30 of us that got the shots. So I asked the doctor, where are the women? You know what they said? They're all dead. There were 80 and 90-year-old widows. Wow. There were 2 retired plantation workers, Okinawan Japanese Americans in their 80s. These were men. And then it was me. I'm 78. That was it. Hey, we're dying. We're dropping like flies, Mr. Bennett.
Well, wait a minute. It's 65 and over. There must have been some 65-year-old
No, this is
women.
75.
Oh, they're
75.
They're limiting it to 75 because everywhere else in the country it's 65.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was originally 75 was the requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it changed to 65, which is where it is now.
Yeah, and now they're adding a whole bunch of other people into it, but they haven't got any vaccine.
Yeah, in Hawaii they're only doing 75 and over right now.
I mean, I can't figure that one out.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll just delay people.
Huh? What?
They will just delay people farther out.
Delay people, but I mean, I hear about our governor going, and we just opened up Yankee Stadium, and we're going to go out in Mets Stadium, and we're going to do this with that, and we're going to open up this. And by the way, if you've got some kind of comorbidity, you're on the list now. And if you like using wax lips, you're on the list now. I mean, and I'm going, okay, everybody's on the list. Where are you going to get the vaccine from?
Right.
We had no issue today. So we did we went to Levi Stadium. So that's the largest one in California. They're doing 15,000 a day. And we were there. They closed at 6. We were there like a 5:30 for appointment or 5:30 appointment. Mm-hmm. And they were counting people in line because they were only thawing out those. So it was like 10 minutes outside the stadium. And by the time we got in, it was like another 10 minutes. But the 10-minute wait inside was because they were waiting for stuff to thaw out because they only thaw out so many per, how many they have in line.
I understand for the vaccinators, they have a quota. They got to hit at least 30 patients in an hour. That's less than 2 minutes a patient.
Well,
as they come down the line, they hit you with a needle, give you the Band-Aid, and sign your shot record.
Ours is about 5 people. Is it 5 appointments every 10 minutes? Something like that.
But they got to bang them in. And they're using a 21 gauge syringe out here in Hawaii, which is a very thin needle. And some of the retired plantation workers, the gentlemen in their 80s, they're such tough guys who work in the fields. They got calluses on their shoulders from all that work 30, 40 years ago. They couldn't put the needle in them. The nurses were struggling to punch into the skin, so they had to use a larger 18 gauge. That's like an ice pick. And these guys are tough, gentlemen. They go, Auntie, is that the best you could do?
Oh boy. Yeah.
It's amazing, These guys are so tough. It's amazing. They hardly have any gray hair. They're 5 foot even, but tough as nails.
Have you gotten your second shot yet, Alan?
Me? Oh yeah, I got it a week ago Monday.
What was it? Pfizer?
Pfizer.
Yeah. Okay. Because
Pfizer, the country is using like 75% Pfizer, 50% Moderna for some reason.
Did you get a little bit of a headache?
No.
What were you going to say, Dan?
Oh, I was just going to ask. I've been hearing that the second shot is like a real doozy, but I don't understand why. Because it's
how old are you, Dan? Dan, how old are you?
I'm 51, so I'm sure I'll be fine.
So you'll probably be fine. The cutoff for Moderna is 55, and Pfizer's 55 and 65 for Moderna. The people above that age don't get much side effects for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just the science.
Is it younger people that get
you probably won't get much.
Yeah, they make you sit after. It was in a gymnasium, so they make
I just
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Do
after.
the younger people get more side effects than the older people? Is that what?
Yes,
it is?
because their immune system is more active than ours.
So my stepfather's wife, my stepfather passed away last year, but so we're very close. So she lives in Palm Springs. She said that she had the second Moderna vaccine yesterday. Since 11:30 last night, she's had chills, shakes, fatigue, and nausea. She rarely gets sick. She's very, very healthy.
I'll bet you that in a few months they're gonna say the people that get Moderna. I don't know anybody on Pfizer that's had much of. I had a little bit of sore muscles on Pfizer the second time. First time, nothing. Everybody I know that's having side effects has got Moderna. I don't understand it.
Wow.
That's a different technology.
No, it's the same technology.
No, Moderna is the mRNA. mRNA, and the other one is just like the Pfizer. It's like they're shooting an actual a dead virus into you.
No, you're wrong.
I think they're both the same.
They're both the same.
I think so, yeah.
They're both the same technology. Go look it up, John.
So why is it that
One
it's
of them,
a different
there's 3 of them out there, right?
thermodynamic problem?
Only 2 so far.
Yeah,
only
so
2 out there?
Only 2. Yeah, Johnson
Temperature's
& Johnson
not
got
the
pushed out. Yeah,
That's
Johnson
it.
& Johnson got pushed
Johnson
out.
and Johnson is not the mRNA.
Correct.
No, forget about
Yes,
Johnson
correct.
Johnson. Let's just talk about Pfizer and the other one.
okay, what was your question?
They're at
Sorry,
different
Alex.
temperatures.
Oh,
Yeah.
So how could you say it's not the same? I mean, you said it's identical. I don't agree with that.
They're not identical. However, they did say a while back that if you had to, you could mix them. The first shot could be your Pfizer and your second could be Moderna.
They don't recommend it.
They don't
so
recommend
Dr.
it.
at the
Fox-
beginning. At the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning, they were saying it was possible. But
Yeah.
So yeah, the mRNA vaccines need to be super cold. The Pfizer needs to be like -90, and then they add saline solution to the bottle or something like that, and then they have 6 hours at room temperature after they add the saline, break the seal of the bottle to get it in people's arms. But that's going to happen in 5 minutes because it's only 5 per bottle. And then Moderna needs to be at like -8 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And the same thing, but they get 6 shots out of their bottle. But I don't know, it's a bigger bottle, I guess, or something. I haven't seen the Moderna bottle.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the new mRNA or whatever it is. John, look it up. You'll see it.
Yeah.
Well,
They're very like each other.
Here we are talking about
Science.
About the virus again. You know, I mean, I quite frankly, I think overall right now it's a big clusterfuck.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know who to give it to first. They don't know who to give it to second. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know,
California's been really good though. I mean, I'll say that everything that I've heard from Southern California, my friends down there in LA, and then everything that my friends have gone through here, the smaller area, like the Valley Med that's over here, the hospital, they was taking 2 weeks for an appointment, but then Levi Stadium was like 3 days. So,
well,
Does Levi Stadium using Moderna or Pfizer?
They're using both. So you get your thing, and either you're going downstairs or upstairs, depends on which one.
Yeah.
They make you get out of your car. Shame on them.
Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I was wearing sweats. I thought that it was drive-through.
Mr. Lee, how long did it take you to get an appointment?
Pretty fast. I went online and I got it right away within a week, and I was scheduled real quick, and my follow-up will be a month from now.
Yeah. So you got
a lot of people. Problem here, Mr. Bennett. A lot of seniors, they're not very good with computers. And here, Kaiser in Hawaii, they want everybody to go online at kp.org. And a lot of the seniors, they need to talk to someone on the phone.
Yeah.
Call auntie, call uncle, and the call center is like in Arizona or some damn place.
Right.
So there's a lot of cultural issues here too that are going on. We have these extended families. We have many people from the Marshall Islands, Tahiti, the areas of Okinawa, and there's a lot of the health department people are really trying to dispel everyone's superstitions and all that kind of stuff, because there's still a lot of superstition there. It sounds crazy, gentlemen, but if you go to the hospital, that's where you die. Sounds crazy. But that stigma is still around, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I remember my forebears had a lot of that kind of.
They had COVID.
No, it's like that. That's a sense of hospitals, the place where you go to die.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, like an old tradition kind of.
Well, they're having trouble with a lot of, at least here in New York, they're having trouble with a lot of, especially the workers, the nursing home workers, who are refusing to take the shot, and they can't figure out why.
They're doing it here in California too.
Yeah, and then they're going. The blacks are dying at a rate of 3.5 times that of whites.
That's horrible.
But part of the reason is they're not getting the shot. That's first of all.
Yeah, they got the memories of Tuskegee.
Yeah, but I don't buy that Tuskegee argument, and I'll tell you why. Because when did Tuskegee happen?
100 years ago.
100 years ago, something like that. Some ridiculous amount of time. The people alive today are not particularly terrified because of the Tuskegee experiments. Okay?
I agree, Alex.
An excuse.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I know I have some black friends who, like, I'm surprised what they'll post on Facebook. It's like, this is the kind of stuff I see from the wackos on the right, but I've seen the same kind of posts, and the only thing I can come up with is, they've been told throughout their lives that, they're going to try to, a lot like the MAGA crowd, like they're going to track you and whatever with the vaccine and blah, blah, blah.
So I think if they had black community leaders, doctors, nurses, something like that come out and tell them it's okay.
Oh yeah.
They'd get a lot more. In Los Angeles, it's the epicenter for the past couple months or weeks or whatever with COVID around the country. And Dr. Doom was talking about that last week before the snowstorm hit. But the reason most of the people that are getting it are Latinos. Los Angeles has got a lot of them, but they're afraid of going to medical because they've been told by Trump's people or something that if you're Latino and you're undocumented and you go in, they're gonna kick you back to Mexico or whatever, which is just not the case.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's not but the question of why blacks are getting it disproportionately to whites. I think a lot of it has to do with the reluctance to get the vaccine, what do you call it, the vaccine, the reluctance to wear masks. I mean, I can say for living in a black neighborhood that there are a lot of people here not wearing masks.
I see that too.
And also because of bad eating habits or because of poverty or whatever, there is also the weight issue.
Right.
Okay.
Comorbid.
So I would say that's why they're dying 3 times as fast, not because we aren't supplying them with the ability to get the shot. Okay. I don't think there's an excuse, at least in my neighborhood, which is primarily a black neighborhood, for anybody in this neighborhood not to get a shot. The place where you get the shot is 1 block that way. Okay?
Right.
And if you live in another part of Harlem, it's 1 block that way. Okay? So to say that it's not being made available to them is wrong. I think that they have a tendency to not see doctors as often as whites do. I think that there's some reticence in that.
I think you're right.
I don't know if it's out of fear or what it's out of, but it's
It's
certainly
lack of trust, I think.
it could be a lack of trust. Absolutely. Absolutely. But all I'm saying is that there are several other reasons why and racism has nothing to do with it. Okay?
Right.
And our governor is going out of his way to make sure that blacks are being catered to in this whole thing, and he's still not upping the numbers. You know?
Yeah.
So I mean,
I when I drive around the Bay Area, everybody's got a mask on. Brian probably will concur. And in the Bay Area, I have 4 black friends, and they've all got their vaccination. And one of them's an emergency room physician. The other 3 are lay people, and they're like around here, a bit large black community in Oakland. They're lining up at the Coliseum to get their COVID shot. So it may be different in New York, but in California, they have a different outlook, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't have the answers to that. I think your answers are there's a lot of logic behind your answers, Alex. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a whole bunch of set of circumstances that has nothing to do with lack of ability, lack of access, or anything like that. And I think the governor is barking up a wrong tree, basically because he's giving a white answer to a black situation. Yeah. And I'm saying that, no, what you've got to do is to get them to wear masks. You've got to get them, you've got to encourage them to eat better. You know, I mean, even though I know it's difficult, but they have a tendency. I mean, if you look in our black community here, there are people here who are morbidly obese at a disproportionate level among blacks than among whites. And that has to do with the lack of access to good food, inexpensive food that's good for you, so on and so forth. But I'm telling you, when I see a black woman weighing 350 pounds walking down the street without a mask, I go, what are you trying to do, kill yourself?
I guess I'll block myself now.
Well, what I'm saying is, hey, look, you know your comorbidity, okay?
Absolutely.
And so even though you've had
at
your
300 pounds, I'm freaked out. So let me tell you.
But you wear the mask, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
See.
Wore it in March.
Yeah.
Once they said that this is in the class of stuff as common cold, I said I had masks, handed them out to my family and friends.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Jeff, you had your hand up.
Yeah. So, Alex, do you actually talk to these people that are the 350 pounders?
No, because I don't want to get yelled at.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to get yelled
or
at.
Worse.
Or worse. I mean, I'll tell you what I do when I walk down the street and somebody's not wearing a mask. I put my hand over my face, giving them an idea that I don't want to get your cooties. Okay. It doesn't seem to bother very many of them. And occasionally I'll see somebody with it down around their here and not over the nose, and I'll take mine and go, and they go, oh, okay, sure, they're okay because they're trying to wear a mask,
I don't think, as much as we know about it and as little as we know about COVID and the shots, it's just a long time before people are going to get in tune. I mean, there's a lot of Caucasians that won't take the shot. Trump twisted everybody's head around about COVID, and there's a lot of Republicans out there that believe he was God or the next thing to it, and he knew more about science and medicine than anybody else in the world because he said so.
Well, Bill Gates has a tracker in the vaccine. You know about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Microchip.
Yeah. Bill
Alex
Gates
tells
is
us
tracking
all
it.
the time. But I think a lot of that's economics too, right? I mean, the poor neighborhoods have more, McDonald's and fast foods, dollar meals, so easier for them to go and grab a burger for the kids.
Absolutely.
And sodas and stuff, the 7-Ups or 7-Eleven, big gulp cups.
Yep.
And all that stuff. So, I mean, yeah, it's really
But
bad.
you can't get into
the
those
biggest
stores unless you have a mask.
Yeah, but the biggest thing this is a discussion different time, but I mean the homelessness still, man, we drive around here in San Jose and every overpass you have something. I think we joked the other day about that 2-story
right
in the
Yeah.
Cloverleaf in Fremont.
Right.
And it's like unbelievable how the cops will just drive right by. And I heard a cop from my friend was joking sarcastically saying, oh, we live in beautiful San Jose. And he was making comments on all the homeless people. And it's like, man, when are we going to get back to those kind of conversations?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So amazingly enough, the homeless are not the big carriers of COVID.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
We're
I've
out
heard
in
a lot
the,
of different reasons.
We're outside, so
Never seen a homeless guy with a mask.
I've heard that. Yeah, I have
all
seen
I'm
homeless
saying
with a
is
mask,
what bothers me about like our governor, who's a white guy, okay, so he has white guilt, okay, is that he's going, oh well, we have to make sure the blacks get it and they have equal opportunity to it and all of that, and he's not dealing with the overall sociological reasons that go beyond simply the fact that they don't have access to the shots. I mean,
Exactly.
Who doesn't have access to the shots? I mean, come on. Anybody here in an area where you don't know where to go get your shots?
Right. And then is he going to feel good that he's given the people the shot? And then he walks away again, and they still have poor health care. They still have poor living conditions. They still have all these things. He puts that Band-Aid on it and it looks like a hero. Look at where we're getting all these guys the vaccine, and he walks away from it like he's a hero.
The other thing that bothers me, that's kind of bothered me, I mentioned this to Stephen Kravitz today when we were talking with him, that bothers me is that our governor is suddenly going, well, and now we're going to get people with comorbidities, and we're adding so-and-so to the list, and so-and-so to the list, and so-and-so to the list. Hey, I'm 81. What happened to the 75 and above? Shouldn't we be the first in the pecking order? Then you go to the 65s, So if I call up and I say, I'm 81, they go, oh, well, you go to the head of the line. Yeah. But no, they've added all these other people. So now a guy who's got a comorbidity, I think smoking's one of the comorbidities.
Yes.
Not here. Really? Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm making a joke there, but certainly obesity is a comorbidity. And,
So my friend who watches the show all the time in New Jersey, that's what his problem is right now. He's been signed up and trying to get it. And he has emphysema for different health issues, not from smoking, never smoked, never drank. But these people who have smoking and all these other things are going in front of him in line.
Yeah. So, I mean, shouldn't you say, well, wait a minute, once we've taken care of the 75 aboves, then we'll take care of the 65 and aboves, and then we'll take care of the this, and we'll take care of the that, and then we'll get down to the people with all the comorbidities. Or if you want to push the comorbidities to the front of the line, fine. But at least don't change the pecking order. But when you change that pecking order, let's say tomorrow, let's say next a week from Saturday when we're getting our second shot, I somehow can't make that that appointment. Can I reschedule my appointment for the following week?
I don't know.
No way I'll be able to. You know, although they did say they're holding on to your shot for like a week or something. So I guess that is possible. But it's very hard to come up with information about that.
It says Alex Bennett. I was big shot. I was a big shot on your needle, waiting for you.
Yeah.
So I think that Trump stands a better chance of becoming president next week than you missing your shot, Alex.
Yeah, that's
the snowstorm.
Hey, listen, I don't know that next week I'm not going to get a note saying we've run out. You know, although they say the second doses they have available. In other
Good.
words, it's the first dose they're worried about running out of.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
What's the
I know.
difference?
Biden's trying to push the teachers up in line, which I think is a good thing, but they should have started that. You know, I say, Alex, I would rather see the 75 teachers other than bringing that down to 65.
Teachers should have been in the first group with health caregivers.
Yes. Yep, I agree.
You know, the health caregivers were getting their shots. Oh, my doctor got his shot, and everybody else who works with it should be so with teachers too. Same thing.
Yeah, we're getting our shots. I'm in between shots here in Ohio, so teachers are getting shots here.
They're even doing substitutes, Dan.
Yeah, I got a
good.
The school district I was with was real nice to me, and they wrote a letter on my behalf.
On your behalf, how nice!
That's nice.
Yeah.
We treat the teachers terribly. Just see this and this, how this is going. We teach them, you know, the pay and all this other stuff, and even the shots. And we're trusting them with our kids, and we want to get the kids back in.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, we're so terrible as a country.
Oh my!
Well, it's a real mess. Obviously, the whole thing's a mess.
Yeah.
If I were to take a picture of just the crowd in the school walking through the hallways, and if I posted that picture on social media, I would be fired immediately, because if people from England or even New York or LA saw what was going on here, you'd be like, what are you guys doing? I mean, we're more spread out than you are, so it's a little different, but it's still, we're not doing a great job.
Originally, they were going to give people 70 and older, right? And then they were going to do 65 and older, and then 60 and older with comorbidities, and teachers, and from one city to the other, they can't decide what they want to do, and that makes it more mess, more confusing, and everything. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Obviously, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe they ought to let Alex run the damn thing. He would kick some ass, I think. But
absolutely.
But it's a real mess.
All I'm saying is that it's a real mess, and then all of a sudden, what you do is you get people politically like. Look, I've had a great deal of respect for a while with Cuomo, a little less now than I used to have,
right?
Because I think he's handling it poorly now rather than well. But I've had a lot of respect for him. But lately, he's been showing that it's still all nothing but being a political hack in the way they try to get things done. You know, I have white guilt, so therefore I'm going to make sure that I know that black people are afraid of doctors, you know, or don't have the same access to health care. Well, this isn't the same access to health care, because this is something they're giving out at schools, okay? You know, you just go get the shot at a place near you. This isn't health care where you got to go to Mount Sinai or you got to go to some public hospital and you've got to seek it out, and you don't have insurance. That you don't pay. Insurance doesn't have to cover this.
Did you see the Florida governor today?
What did he do?
Speaking of a mess, DeSantis or whatever his name is, he's setting up a pop-up vaccination center this weekend in one of the richest neighborhoods in New York. And tell me that didn't cause a stir in the paper.
Wait a minute, he's starting a pop-up in New York?
And no, I'm Florida.
Yeah,
I'm
Florida.
sorry. Yeah, in New York. Don't mind me. At my age, I get real forgetful.
Listen, knowing that Florida governor, he might set it up in New York.
He's such an idiot. No, he's setting up this pop-up in a real high-end neighborhood in Florida. And, he's going to vaccinate everybody. It doesn't care as long as they're of legal age to get a vaccination, 16, 18, whatever. And a lot of people are saying, whoa, wait a minute. That's a rich neighborhood. What's up with that?
Especially in Florida, where old people go to die, for crying out loud. I'm sure your senior population in Florida is much larger than it is here in New York City.
But there's a lot of Jews with money there.
A lot of Jews with money here too.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
No, but I mean, if you first take the people
They check
who
my
are
wall.
most at risk of dying from this.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's old people like me. If I get it tomorrow, my chance of dying from it is much larger than even some of the black people out there. Okay, who are younger. So. I should be taken care of before other people.
Your risk is higher than my risk.
Yeah, I maybe, I don't know. You do have a major comorbidity there.
If
you don't mind me being insulting,
but most people that are dying in the hospital are, if you take the convalescent hospitals out of the picture, people 70 and above. And then after that, people with comorbidities. Now I have a double comorbidity. I'm not only fat, but I've got moderate asthma, which is also another comorbidity.
Yep.
But if you're a cancer survivor, that makes you a high morbidity. People that have had strokes and have recovered from strokes, that's a comorbid. I mean, they can't make up their mind.
We got them all over here.
If you work in healthcare like Brian, that's a comorbidity.
My stress.
Did you have any comorbidities, Mr. Lee?
Yeah, I've got asthma, and I used to work at healthcare too. In public health, in the area of environmental health, but mostly it was chemicals.
Oh,
we were sort of the canaries, the hazmat stuff.
Yeah.
Lead poisoning and all that good stuff. But when you're young, we're crazy. You know what I mean? We don't think. We just go out there and do it. Get our hands wet with every kind of chemical you can think of, glycols. And, now it's another story. But hey, Mr. Bennett, 40 years ago when I was in Nam, we used to spray ourselves with DDT. We didn't care. Just get the bugs out of our ears.
That's right.
Oh, my God.
But all I'm saying is I think it's time for us to look at this a little more practically and say, okay, we get the most at-risk people taken care of first. I wish we had enough so we didn't even have to make a priority like that. You just lined up and got a shot. You know? But we don't have that. But for instance, Jeff here. Jeff should have been in the front of the line from the very beginning. When he signed up, he shouldn't have had to wait weeks to get it.
That's right.
All right. He should have just, boom, when can you get down here?
Unfortunately, medicine in this country, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And
but what happens? What happens here in New York is they're opening up all these places. Say, we have thousands, we have hundreds of them, we have millions of them, and they don't have any vaccine, but they've got all these places that if they could give shots, they could give them in. And I'm going, shouldn't you just open up enough to take care of the traffic that's needed for the amount that you have? And then when we get more, you open up more places. And then when we get even more, you open up more places. And when we get a lot, then you open up Met Stadium, you open up Yankee Stadium, But
that sounds logical to me,
Yeah, but no, the governor, for just optics, says, we just opened a place up there in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. Well, the Bronx is one of the heavy areas for infection, okay? Mm-hmm. So that being the case, is putting one in Yankee Stadium, which is in the Bronx, going to help that situation? No, it would be better if you found more schools and places near people where they could just walk across the street and get it than to have to drive or take the train and get the COVID from the train, take the train to get out to a Yankee Stadium. Just bring it to their neighborhoods. You don't have to do these places like Yankee Stadium because the optics look good. And that's where politics enters into it. And I don't care what Cuomo says, he's playing politics.
I agree with you.
And your governor out in California, I don't think he knows what the fuck he's doing.
I'll agree with you there too.
I mean, I used to. This is the thing. I like Cuomo, and now I don't like him as much. And I used to think the world of Gavin Newsom, but now I'm not thinking very much of him anymore.
No. He's messed it up too.
Yeah, I mean, these people who weren't messing it up originally, well, Cuomo messed it up originally and corrected his behavior and then saved lives, okay? Right. But now it's coming back to haunt him. And I think he's maybe being hit too hard with this whole thing about the nursing homes. I think he was going by the best information at the time. Is what that was all about. So,
Did you see where Dr. Fauci won $1 million?
No.
Yeah,
what, you go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No, I'm trying to think of the country of Sweden.
Did he get a grant or something?
Oh, where?
Did he get a grant?
What did he get? A Nobel Peace Prize?
It was like a Nobel Peace Prize.
But
this was in medicine, and it wasn't the Nobel family, it was somebody else. And they give out 3, and they gave him 1. They gave Al Gore 1 too a number of years ago, but they gave him 1 for his work in COVID and HIV and stuff. It was just in the news yesterday or the day before.
Wow.
So it wouldn't be hard to find if you look it up.
Wow. Well,
they blew up Trump's Plaza, the Trump Plaza and Casino in Atlantic City.
Really?
They have it on video. They did it today, I guess, and they had people cheering in the background.
Well, they had they had a contest or something.
Oh, that's linked to that one.
And the winner.
No, this one was just today.
No, the winner was the guy who's going to pull the plunger. Was going to flip the switch and bring it down. And I think it was they were either looking for a donation, or they were looking for they were having a contest, and the winner got to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So according to CNN, Dr. Fauci wins $1 million prize from Israel for his work on COVID and other diseases. Wow. Good for him.
Well, good for him. I mean, I'm getting a little tired of seeing his mug on TV every 5 minutes.
Now,
but still, he's done a good job of informing the public.
The world looks at him for answers.
Yeah. Well, let me put this theme song on here.
Okay.
There it is.
Time to get rid of us.
Time to dump y'all. Jack will be doing another show tonight with absolutely nobody because Scott Bodeker's frozen out and Charlie's frozen out, and so maybe some of you guys might think about calling Jack just to give him somebody to talk to. Okay.
Charlie did on Facebook say that he was okay.
Oh, he's okay. Charlie's okay?
About 6 hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah, his power's out, but
he doesn't have backup batteries.
If you're listening to us at all, Charlie, we're thinking about you. Okay.
We love you.
Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you very much to our good friend Dan Meyer, Phil's brother. Thanks to Team Pfizer, Brian. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Mr. John Larkin, and James Lee from Hawaii. Good to hear from you again too. Everybody should give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm back to my good camera. I don't know what the problem is. I'm gonna have to buy another one of these good cameras just for the Zoom thing. I don't know, but I'll worry about that another day. Hey, listen, that's it for now. We'll be back again tomorrow. Jack Bishop is next with the intersection. Please call him. He needs some callers tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? And be safe out there. Wear a mask and get a shot.